Hello, everybody. It's meteorologist Hutch Johnson. I sure appreciate you watching and following me here on Facebook and subscribing on YouTube. Winter weather is working its way across the Dakotas, heading into Minnesota and Wisconsin now, continuing into your Saturday. 10 inches almost already reported across parts of South and North Dakota. Your detailed forecast begins right now. But first, my friends at Robert Gibbons Sons want to let you know they can turn cold water into comfort with water heater solutions. Now, they can offer gas, electric, or tankless water heater options, and they've been serving our community for over 110 years. Give them a call. Let them know that Hutch Johnson sent you. All right, let's take a look at what we have going on with regards to our weather right now. Take a look at this national picture. It's quite impressive. Here we go. Look at this. And again, thanks for saying hi. You can drop a comment on any of my channels. I'll keep you watching. Avis, howdy, good to see you on board. Now, a couple of things of note. Number one, stormy weather. This is a forecast animation of the snow now pushing all the way through parts of Minnesota, Minneapolis, all the way through Green Bay, the Great Lakes, and pounding the East Coast as well. We have winter storm warnings, southern North Dakota right now, central Minnesota, and then we do have winter storm warnings up in the Northeast and New England states, including a watch in yellow, a winter storm watch in Boston, Providence, Rhode Island, south of Montpelier, and look at Albany to Bridgeport. Winter storm warnings there. There'll be some ice potential with storm as well as it works its way through, and a good old-fashioned lake effect event right here in parts of upstate New York that is going to all be the result of this storm system. Fog down in Oklahoma and Kansas, some winter weather advisories in parts of Colorado, and the mountains of western Wyoming are bracing for a giddy up. Some serious snow potential from this storm system, and big time cold expected in the valley. Check this out in parts of central and southern California, Bakersfield, Fresno. That there, folks, is what we would call a freeze warning, and that's some cold weather heading to those areas. Now, let's take a look at the forecast track just a little bit closer with another tool that we have here at Hutch's Weather. And again, good evening, Matthew. Thanks, Sandra, for watching as well. Let me walk through this forecast map here. Let me just pause it. Now, as we go through the evening hours, we're going to see some snow showers working their way out of the Dakotas into Minnesota. This storm system here is going to bring the heaviest band of snow along and south of Interstate 94. And along the South Dakota border, it could be quite intense. Notice this area right here, though, some very heavy snow pushing into parts of western and central Minnesota by the time we cross the midnight hour. This is when the winds really start picking up in our southern counties. It won't be as strong in Fargo, and in Grand Forks and points north, very little in the way of snow accumulation as we go through. Now, continuing to walk through the track of this storm, as we go into your Saturday morning, 5 a.m., most of the snow will be across Minnesota. Very strong winds across the I-90 corridor, strong winds across the I-29 corridor here in North and South Dakota that will drive some pretty tricky and treacherous travel conditions for some area. We'll get to more on the details on the snowfall amounts, but check this out. From Sioux Falls to the Twin Cities, 7 a.m., the snow just continues to rock southern Minnesota. The southern half, south of Highway 10, Brainerd Lakes area, Duluth, and points south. Look at this thing rumble into parts of northern Wisconsin, ice moving into parts of Iowa, and that slips all the way across northern Illinois, including Chicago, northern Indiana, including Fort Wayne, as we go into our Saturday afternoon. Now, look at the showers, strong thunderstorm potential from areas near Louisville into Kentucky. And here's another batch of snow, that one heading up into the New England states as we go through the day. Now, as we go through Saturday afternoon, midday, that's when the ice and snow potential increases as we go into Ohio, Detroit, these areas picking up some wet weather, but the northern reaches of the mitten of Michigan will see some pretty heavy potential for some snow. And here we go. Look at Pittsburgh. Just a little bit of everything there. Very heavy snow from north of Pittsburgh. Through Pittsburgh, we could have some icing and heavy rain and thunderstorms. These could be a few strong ones embedded in there as well. And snowfall rates with this system could exceed 2 inches per hour as that system works its way through New York, Rhode Island, and off into the New England states. So this is a storm system in our area here in the Northern Plains that will just, I guess, the gift that keeps on giving. We'll just call it that. Out on the West Coast, a little quieter, and a line of thunderstorms along the cold front down into parts of northern Alabama and Mississippi. Hi, good to have you on, Cheryl. Nice to see you, Shirley. Thanks for watching, Matthew. Now, let's take a look at the forecast that I've prepared for you here to get to the facts, and then we're going to take a look at the right now road conditions as well. Winter storm warning Friday and Saturday afternoon. There's a winter storm possible. No, it's happening. We already have reports of over 6 inches of snow. We'll get to those here momentarily. Gusty winds and gusty travel. Here's a closer look at that snowfall forecast for you and for you and for you. Here is a look. 2 to 5 inches in the blue area, a good bet. So anywhere south of, say, Highway 2 is where we'll start to see a gradual ramping up of the snowfall potential. The Fargo-Moorhead area has a solid bet at 3 to 5 inches of snow here as it continues to fall fairly regularly but slowly compared to what's going on down south. 3 to 8 inches plus in this band south of Bismarck, right here where Hutch painted it. And this has been pretty much the ongoing forecast. Look at Montana, Glendive points south into Baker, Ekalaka, all the way up to Miles City, Montana. Get up in the Highway 2 corridor up here near Wolf Point and Glasgow. Much, much lower impacts from this particular system. What a stars party. Tracy, thank you so very much. I'll be checking my YouTube channel here for updates and questions from you, as well as I'll answer questions here at the end here. Look at this. All the way through northern parts of Wisconsin, this band of heavy snow, 3 to 8 plus, will work its way through northern Wisconsin and all the way out into the southern part of the Great Lakes region where I showed you earlier. So that's the snowfall potential. Low temperatures tonight, not as low as we could be. 5 degrees, Fargo, sub-zero air as we head into the morning hours out west, where we'll already start with some clearing for you folks. Tomorrow afternoon, the coldest of the year up north. Not as cold yet, but our northeast flow is getting ready to fetch some mighty frosty weather, as you'll see right now in the 7-day planner. Once the snow is gone, we wave goodbye. Good riddance. It's out of here for a while, but look what moves in. It's Uncle Frosticles staying like, well, you know, someone who just overstays their welcome. Look at this. Sunday morning, sub-zero. This is all Fargo, North Dakota, by the way, if you're watching from other parts of the country. And these are actual air temperatures, 21 below as we start our day on Wednesday. That's Fargo. It will be even colder in some of our other communities, particularly up north and out in the oil patch. We stay cold all the way till Friday, and that will be our next chance of snow in the region. The central and northern plains could see another weather maker that looks impactful, not necessarily Fargo the way the models are looking right now. That's what we have going on. Now let's take a look at a couple of these questions. How much for Wahpeton? Ashley, as we go right back to the details on that, I'm going to show you that you are definitely in the heavier snowfall band track here. And we did just go over that, but here's another closer look. So Wahpeton, Breckenridge, south of Fargo, this model is calling for 7 to 8 inches, but I think you're going to be in that zone where we could see a few pockets with even more than that, as we've already seen. Let me show you these snowfall reports. This is the other side of redonkulousness. Now, when you pass a report on to Hutch's Weather, I in turn pass it on to the National Weather Service, and then it shows up on hutchesweather.com. So if you go to hutchesweather.com, what you're gonna find there, up at the buttons at the top of the page here, you're gonna see road conditions. Go ahead and click on that puppy, but next to it, snowfall amounts. So let's do that together right now. If you click on snowfall amounts, you're gonna get the National Weather Service's reports of snow from you and from other people who have reported. Now, the dots and the color of the dots help us focus in on areas where the snow has been the greatest. It's been snowing longer in southwest and south central North Dakota. Check this out. We're going out to Regent. Wow, how about that? 6 inches of snow out there at 7 inches in Mott. And as you get south of Bismarck here, how about 9.5 reported in Selfridge? That's there in Sioux County. Numerous reports over 6 inches of snow there. Fort Yates with 7 inches reported. A little farther to the south, Pollock, South Dakota had 5 inches of snow. And in the heavier band of snow that's heading right towards you in the Wahpeton Breckenridge area, already 4 inches of reported snow in Lemoore. Do you have a snowfall report for Hutch? Pass it along. I'll pass it along to the Weather Service. It'll show up on hutchesweather.com right here so that you can keep up to date with the very latest. Now, the snowfall that fell in Montana today was the other side of ridiculous west of Billings, but that's a good place for it, right? Now, in the Mystic Lake area, 14 inches of snow. If you like to ski, you might go to a place like Red Lodge. How about 8 inches in Red Lodge? Or you might also go out towards, well, Two Dot Montana, 10 inches of flaky material there. So again, we can take a look at the plotted text version showing the highest amount in the window shown here, 14 inches. The highest amount of snow there. Zoom out, look at the western mountains out there in, oh my goodness, look at California and Carson City, Nevada area. How about 20 inches of Rose Ski Base? That is a look at the snowfall that fell out there in Nevada and on the California border. We do have some UP snow that was a result of what do you call that again? Lake effect snow. You got that right. 8.5 inches, McMillan. And then look at the Northeast states with a lot more on the way. Many of these reports in that blue shade. So the 4 to 6 inch category with a couple in the light yellow at 7 inches of snow already. And you have a lot more to worry about as we go through the big weekend, Super Bowl Sunday weekend, as a matter of fact, here in the US of A. So that's what's going on right now across the nation. Let me see if we got any questions. Oh, thank you very much, Robert Ward, for your comments on the Facebook page. I really appreciate that. If you have an idea for hutchesweather.com, that's the page you see right here, let me know. I'd love to have your feedback because your feedback helps it grow, and it's done great so far. Bakken says, oof. Yeah, oof is right. Oof and duh. A couple of my best friends as little Norwegian humor right there. Okay, let's take a look at one other thing here as we go through with regards to our weather. We've talked about this. Now let's look at the national forecast. Where's this storm system going? We're going to look at mainly the snowfall potential, and then we'll look at the ice potential as well. To kind of summarize for others watching in different parts of the country, you're welcome to watch Hutch Johnson right here on my YouTube channel and on my Facebook page as well. So let me go ahead and pull up a latest, let's go to the European model. Let's go out here to the winter weather stuff because why not? It is winter after all. And we're going to look at the good old-fashioned total snowfall. As this gets set in motion here, as we go through the next couple of days, anywhere here, this is just, let's just go through the weekend, shall we? Because getting out too far gets a little bit crazy. The band moving out of Montana, where we saw the reports, we already had a report of about 10 inches right here south of Bismarck. It gets heavy in northern Wisconsin, out towards Green Bay, north and Milwaukee in the game there. You go down south a little bit less towards Madison, you get into Chicago. Why doesn't it show a lot of snow in Chicago? Because you get the rain and snow mix. That slop is what you get to contend with. Same thing for Fort Wayne. This model says most of the snow stays on the northern side of the Great Lakes states. So the Mitten of Michigan, seeing it big time in the north. Same thing goes as you go through New York. And where we see the pinks here, look at Cape Cod. No fishing. Well, I wouldn't want to go fishing in that kind of weather. Very heavy snow for you folks out there in Boston and on towards Long Island. Looks like some snow, but there'll also be ice potential in southern parts of Pennsylvania. So we'll switch this over to another model here. Let me go here. I'm going to click on this button right here and say go. And then we're going to look at some icing potential. So we're going to look at that. And where'd you go? Where'd you go? All right, where'd you go? Okay, they've taken away the ice. There we go. I knew. I just... Focus. Hutch. Focus. All right, here we go. Icing potential, mainly off here in the Ohio River Valley. Check this out. As you get into Pennsylvania, these colors here, not good as it comes down to the icing potential as we go into the weekend. Most of this ice, by the way, is timed out to start accumulating tomorrow night, Saturday night, from places in West Virginia, northern parts of Ohio, and look at the state of Pennsylvania. Let me zoom into your area just a little bit here closer for you to show you that the icing potential will be something of significance. Let's go to the mid-Atlantic states here. We should be able to see Pennsylvania pretty good, and off we go. So we're looking at, well, not far from Pittsburgh and even out towards Philly. Look at this. Delaware, you guys will have it in Rhode Island. You guys will have it in parts of New York State as well as New Jersey. So some very icy potential with the storm system, along with the snow, and that heavier snow band will float just a little bit to the north of this. So let me see if I've got any questions at all on the YouTube channel. And looking, Rick, thank you for your support of stars. Peggy, thank you very much. Both video and audio are great. Glad to hear it. I'm glad you can hear me. Sometimes that's a little sketch from time to time, but we're doing the best we can here at Hutch's Weather. Okay, questions on the other channel? Let me double check that. If not, we're going to just call it a night. We'll put our feet up and look for your reports. Hot lap 6:30. There's no way. We already got 10 inches. Hot laps, where are you at? We didn't get 10 inches in Fargo. That report came from Sioux County, but not all of Sioux County. The report was 10 inches from the National Weather Service site there. Prediction for travel tomorrow afternoon between Sioux Falls and Fargo. Gail, great question. The heaviest of the snow is going to be falling first thing in the morning and exiting first thing in the morning, but the impacts will last all day. My guess is, and the impacts will be wind and blowing snow. There is no warning in that area for winter storm warnings. So let's take a look at the region now since we're getting those questions. And let's go to hutchesweather.com. Let's go to the North Dakota road reports. I'll show you the conditions out there now. We do have a travel alert with all of these purple counties that you see here. Simon the Broken from Fargo. I'm looking forward to pushing tomorrow. But pushing a little bit of snow maybe, huh? All right, let's take a look at this real quickly. We do have that travel alert. This doesn't mean that you cannot drive. It means that conditions are mighty tricky. This is all of I-94, Fargo out to Bismarck and beyond, out towards Glen Olin and New Salem, Sioux. As we take a look at the conditions on the Oriska rest area out there in Barnes County, visibility is not too great out there. I'll get you some digits on that visibility. As you can see here, the snow is piling up, and that's at the rest area just off the interstate. Jamestown, here's a look for you on Interstate 94. You can see the road surface out there. That's a good thing. But because of the wind, which won't be as strong in Jamestown as it will be down to the south, there'll be some drifts as well. Now, down south of Interstate 94 is where the heavier band is set up. Let's check in on this area. Oh no, Verona, my Verona. Is that how it goes? I don't know. Well, at any rate, there's some snow out there, and it's covering the road out there on Highway 13 in southern parts of North Dakota. So travel out there, real dicey, and it's a little bit more wind-driven snow as well. So that's some heavy snow. It's not wet snow. It's that fluffy junk out there. How about Foreman? Let's go check you out. We got snow on the road surfaces, but this is what our DOT crews, we all have to give them applaud, give them room. Do not crowd the plow. That's a wonderful saying, and it's a smart thing. Let's go to Sioux County out here. Let's go to southern Morton County first and check out the roads where there were reports of up to 10 inches of snow. Here we go as you're looking in on the Flasher area, and this area has that's on Highway 21 out there, a considerable amount of snow working its way through. Here's just north of Fort Yates. So if you're familiar with this area, 1804, 1806 highways, boom, that road is completely covered. The ditch almost looks to be the same height, so a considerable amount of snow has fallen in that area. And reports of anywhere from 6.5 to 10 inches of snow in that particular area. So travel in between that Sioux Falls area and Fargo can be checked on Hutch's weather anytime you want, Gail, as you're taking it. You go to the website, you click on the road reports, and you can not only look at North Dakota, but if you click on the South Dakota tab there at the top of my page, you're going to get this, the report from the South Dakota DOT. Same thing goes. You can look at cameras here. You can look at the road conditions. If there are any closed roads, it'll show up on the key as being red. But we don't see any closed roads, but we see a whole lot of nonsense up here in the northern part of the state. You get up in that Mobridge zone in that area, look at this. Does this look like fun driving? So if you see this first thing in the morning, I'd wait until the storm moves out. By midday, it should move out of the I-29 corridor, and the road crews will have a chance to start improving things there. Here's Brookings, South Dakota. You can see, look at that. That's not heavy snow, I don't believe. I believe that might be some fog, and indeed it is. So we've got some not patchy fog, but dense fog taking place there. North on I-29, as you get into the Wilmot area, it does not look overly snowy there. The visibility looks pretty spiffy. And then as you go north towards the North Dakota border, boom, that's where you get into the unfun white knuckle kind of stuff that you're driving through in the middle of the night. And the snow will be heaviest as we cross through the 10 o'clock hour till about 4 in the morning. We'll have periods of moderate to heavy snow throughout the overnight. Snowfall accumulations were discussed before, but it looks pretty significant. Seeing if there's more questions on the old Facebook channel. I do not see one. That is your late evening update. Please share this with your friends. You can tag your friends in this video if you think it might be of importance to them. We do have those winter storm warnings in effect for southern parts of North Dakota as we go through the overnight hours. Here's a look at those warnings. The winter weather advisories are in blue. The winter storm warnings here in red. This warning is in effect here, as you can read with me. 5 to 8 inches of snow straight out of the National Weather Service's mouth, and what we've been talking about, the potential for 4 to 6 or more inches of snow throughout the last week. This is in effect until noon on Saturday for our area. That's noon Central Standard Time. Minneapolis is not in a winter storm warning, except you get north of town, just north of town, north of Brooklyn Park towards St. Cloud, and those areas are in the winter storm warning. You're going to get some snow in Minneapolis, just not quite as heavy as your neighbors to the south. Same thing goes for Rochester. We do have some snow potential as well as we look out in the mountains out west with a storm system that's going to be entering right here. Boom. There it is. Winter storm watch. Excuse me. That's a winter weather advisory for southern parts and western parts of Washington, south of SeaTac, and on into parts of northern and western Oregon as we go into the Saturday time frame. I am meteorologist Hutch Johnson. I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time to hit the follow button on Facebook. If you're watching on my channel here on YouTube, I'd love to have you subscribe. And if you hit the little dingle bell, you'll get some notifications when I go live. For now, travel safe. If you don't have to travel, don't. Check hutchesweather.com anytime, anywhere for the latest interactive radar, your forecast. And it tracks you if you let the website follow your location of your device. It can be used on your cell phone. It can be used on your laptop or computer from the home office as well. Follow on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, but most of all, have a wonderful Super Bowl weekend and a safe Super Bowl weekend. The northern tier of states under the grip of some mighty wintry weather.